I understand the people of today. I understand that the world is to be destroyed, corrupted, accustomed to drinking, to make a man feeble, powerless, pitiful. If we don't approach this problem globally, we will never defeat this plague. Whatever remedies we invented, even if my preparation was made of pure gold, I know exactly that if a man doesn't change his way of life, he is sure to perish. Alexander Savelov. What is he? We introduce to you the author of the unique health system, Prolong Your Youth, and his series of very effective, ecologically pure preparation on a vegetable basis under a general name Vivaton, having no analog in the World Bank of pharmacological data. The author of Health System for Children, which has become a part of School of Future, School of Health. A creator of model of ecologically pure agriculture based on a project of unique dairy consuming farm with autonomous deep product processing. He is awarded the International Albert Sweta UNESCO Prize for his great merits in enhancing health of mankind. Academician of Russian and three international academies, Alexander Mikhailovich Savelov-Deryabin. The competent opinion. Meeting in the concert studio Ostankino, 1993. Alexander Mikhailov, a film actor. What Sasha does is grandiose. Zhobotinsky, Olympic champion. He brings to people goodness. We must low bow to him and say thank you very much. Lina Makrichan, a singer. You are our national treasure. You are pride of Russia. I love you. I bless with all my heart everyone who will render you a support. Valery Brumel, the best sportsman in all times. What Alexander does is a very good and kind thing. Midvet, thrice repeated Olympic champion. Vivaton helps a lot, especially sportsmen. Our national team of Belarusia is now undergoing these treatments and quite successfully. Yarygin, Olympic champion. I do believe in this project. I have always supported non-traditional methods of medicine. Fyodor Konnikov, an outstanding traveler. Thanks to Vivaton, and I'm alive and healthy, and on board my yacht again is written Vivaton. Academician Mishalkin, an outstanding surgeon. He is offering the system, which is sure to be accepted by any optimist. Moiseev, head physician of the clinics at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I am absolutely confident that the future belongs to Alexander Mikhailovich and his ideas. God bless you and all your commitments. Korobkov, rector of Music Academy after the Gnesens. He is very talented, very special man. Zinaida Kirienko, a film actress. It's very hard for a righteous man in Russia. He always finds some subject that will do good to people and improve his health. Trubitsky, chairman of the Union of Artists in Russia and abroad. He can't help doing good to people and treating them. Miroshnichenko, editor-in-chief of the magazine Modern Drama. Our society is in need of a hero who could bear the role of spiritual source, selfishly serving his poor, oppressed, insulted mankind. Buznakov, editor-in-chief of the journal Partner Region. His program is badly needed by people, especially common people. Chishkov, a writer. I look upon him as one of the few people who think of others. They are real patriots of their country. Taishev, General Director of All Russian Exhibition Center of Moscow. Alexander Mikhailovich can be referred to the category of people who lives not just for his own sake, but for others. Mamatov, Mayor of the city of Ryazan. We should be very much obliged to Alexander Mikhailovich for what he does. Kornienko, General Director of Sports Complex Izmailova. I can't think of anybody to place next to him. I think he is a man of elite. Such a high estimation of a person and his contribution into a public life by people of different social standing and sphere of activity reflects, first of all, the social significance of that really huge state cause which academician Savyolov Derabin has taken upon his shoulders. And the first leading tendency of his activity is creation of a model of preventive medicine, which involves the program of bringing into a healthy state our children, developing a network of centers on the basis of principal and new methods, prevention of diseases with the help of effective plant preparations, enhancing immunity, and finally the system of retraining medical personnel of middle and higher links. A model of preventing medicine. A medical credo of academician Savyolov Derabin. There are lots of things in nature that are much stronger than antibiotics, hormones, and chemical preparations. The wrongest track of the medicine is that it looks for some chemical means to kill virus and microbe. This is the biggest error. I have proved that working through recovery of a cell, improving the health of a cell and of a certain organ and of a body as a whole, the body will throw off itself any pathology because our cell is 300, 400 times stronger than any bacterium which has a cell, while virus has no cells. I by no means deny that antibiotics, hormones, and chemical preparations are needed, but just in the state of SOS. One cannot treat with them. One can treat by the only means to strengthen a cell, organ, body, as the doctors in pre-revolutionary Russia used to do. What good do all treatment routine of making blood tests 20 times, being x-rays, swallowing a hose for gastroscopy? What will change? Does it matter which organ is in the state of pathology? Yes, it matters for orthodox medicine, as they start attacking this organ with antibiotics, hormones, chemical preparations. But these remedies have no address. It's just written on a label. This is for heart, that is for kidneys, liver, etc. But that's ridiculous. All gets into plasma and all is scattered above the body, leveling in it homeostasis. Only then shall we come to a healthy generation and give birth to healthy children when doctors treat a patient as they should. Using this approach, Alexander Savyolov, first of all, has made himself absolutely healthy. He fulfilled the precept of Hippocrates to a doctor, heal your own self. His personal health practice has absorbed the wisdom of centuries, the knowledge of healers from Tibet, China, ancient inks, Ibn Sina, Hippocrates, the experience of popular medicine. It poured out into a harmonious system of a healthy mode of life, the life in accordance with laws of nature, and the principle of the golden mean was put as a cornerstone, harmony with your own self and with the universe. It consists of 7 major parts: spiritual culture, health treating, the culture of nutrition, breathing, sleep, hydrotherapeutic procedures, physical loads. As a serious help in prevention diseases and improving health, Savyolov Derabin has created a series of ecological pure plant preparations that give a cell all the necessary elements and enhance its resistance to any environmental influence. There are all kinds of extract, jellies, plates, suppositories, water spirit elixir, herb collection, officially recognized as a medicine, and also oil, capsules, tablets, hygienic means, shampoos, toothpaste, vegetable cosmetics, jellies, creams, cosmetic milk, lotion, and also unique technique of massage of a face, body, head with plant preparation. The author of the system himself and his companions in arms, doctors, using his health methods and a series of preparation of Vivaton, have reached results which exceed the achievements of world practice without chemistry, antibiotics, and hormones. Androsov, a practitioner, I happened to observe a woman whose diagnosis was cerebral brain tumor. The state of this woman was very hard. She could not move, lying in bed all the time and waiting for the worst. It was at that time when her relatives turned to Alexander Derabin for help. Have you got any pain syndromes now? None. Before you could move neither hand nor leg, and now you have sewn for me home sleepers, and you played for me toy dragon very artistically, and you sang, and you can work, help about the house, and you can sew. When did it happen? I began to sew 2-3 months ago, after a 2-year break. What was she? She was paralyzed. She could not speak. If she got up, we had to hold her as she fell down. Now she is practically healthy. There are no traces of tumor and metastasis. A horrible diagnosis, skin melanoma, with metastasis to brain, has been taken off. Far behind is the time when a computer tomogram showed cerebral brain tumor 9 centimeters in diameter. On a photo you see a kind of skin cancer. This woman was doomed to death, but she began practicing health system by academician Saviola Derabin and healed herself. If this woman had not come to academician Derabin, she would have died. All the doctors and medical personnel know it. Before you there is Dr. Vlasova. She's a doctor and the wife of a famous writer and a great sportsman, Yuri Vlasov. This woman has purified herself. She got to believe. There is a very good saying, you'll get what you believe in, but faith without deeds is dead. One should do one's best. The illness of Bekhterev has stuck Kostya to bed. His spine and joint seemed to turn to stone, and any attempt to move resulted in a terrible pain. The doctors were powerless to help. Even narcotics wouldn't help. And then Derabin came to rescue. Before it was hard for me just to stir or to move something, but now I can see it. The mobility in my joints is growing, and I've got some energy. I would speak on the phone for 30, 40 minutes at a time. And the system of healthy way of life has helped Kostya's mother to get rid of stomach cancer, Professor Zlatarova. This family has survived thanks to their belief in God and in Vivaton, as they don't take any other medicine. If Vivaton is used in time, then the effect will be quite evident. The city of Odessa, 1993. With what diagnosis have you turned to Vivaton? Disseminated sclerosis. The result, of course, is very tangible. I no longer suffer of those unbearable headaches. I walk by myself. I needn't hold on to my mom, and as a matter of fact, I don't need any help. I can do some elementary work about the house, which I couldn't do before. I came here with kidney disease a year ago. The stones were 10-13 millimeters, lots of sand on both kidneys, and 2.5 months later I have none. The diagnosis of this woman, rheumatoid arthritis. We met in the lobby of a concert studio Stankino in exactly a year, since she began a new way of life with Vivaton. Vivaton. And so yesterday I had my birthday on March 26th, pains retreated, and it's exactly a year since I've been living a different life. On this system, yes. You mean that rheumatic arthritis has retreated? Yes, it has retreated. Isn't it a miracle? Yes, exactly, it's a miracle. This 11-year-old girl got in a car accident, underwent trepanation of a skull. Masha had multiple fractures, huge bed sores on her small body. The doctors were afraid she wouldn't last more than a month. The TV mass media turned to people for help, as Masha had no relatives. Alexander Durabin and his companions in arms responded to this appeal. Naturally, I went there, and we began working together with Irene. She was my helper. We saw that this child was in a terrible state, not a word, nothing. The child is dying. But no matter how hard it was, we found the people who have nursed her, and today she sits in a pram. And this is Nurse Valentine, who took care of Masha. Now you will see her on the stage. She's addressing the doctor. Dear Alexander Mikhailovich, first of all, on behalf of all nurses, I want to tell you thank you a lot for your preparation, which has cured Masha. The bed sores are being healed. We started talking, even phrases. We can see everything. Low bow to you, many, many things. Now Masha is 18. Dr. Nikolaenko, director of Vivaton Center in the town of Aktubinsk. 1.5 years ago, one woman came up to me and said, I have refused to put my child into the tuberculosis sanatorium Chaika. She has Pertus disease. I was told that the girl will be an invalid for all her life, that she will walk on crutches. In one word, her life will be crippled. And then I suggested to this woman, let's try the system of Karavayev-Deryabin. By that time, I had received the preparation Vivaton. And here are the results 1.5 years later. I will show you the photo. The head of the femur and the cotyloid cavity are crushed. There are grave changes in the head on the left femur. And now within 1.5 years of a hard labor, actual recovery of both femurs. The girl is healthy, she walks without crutches, she goes to school. This is Alexei Yakovich. He fell down from the 7th floor and got grave trauma. It was by a miracle that he has survived. 10 years later, he began suffering headaches that were followed by loss of consciousness, and his general state of health aggravated sharply. Doctor, on this picture you see displacement of discs. I considered myself a non-alive man. It's awful to recollect what I have suffered. I wanted to commit suicide, and again the doctors from Vivaton came to rescue. The result, intervertebral discs have taken their original place. The son of a doctor. Here we may talk about restoration or anatomic structure of a cartilage. It's a complex systemic approach. Before you, a director of Vivaton Center in the town of Likhovitsky, Likhovtsev. He is 83, but he massages himself, his comrades in arms, who fell the victims of political reprisals. Recently he saved the life of Alexander Ivanovich Zontovich, who is 85. The latter had a fracture of cervix of thigh. I said, Alexander Ivanovich, I will cure you, and began doing massage. I spoke with Ekaterina Mikhailovna, and she gave me some instructions. Ekaterina Likhovtseva, a doctor, member correspondent of Academy of Medical Sciences. When I began to work with him, he was a lying patient, and now he walks, comes downstairs from his 5th floor. The way of life, which is the Deryabin system, makes a person young, enhances immunity, and he begins to struggle. And the result is full recovery of bone tissue.
А результат – полное восстановление костной ткани.
New York Vivaton Center. This woman with oncology had to undergo chemical therapy and radiation treatment, but the cyst kept on growing. As soon as I switched on a new way of life, I checked that my cyst stopped growing, and all this gave me a new interest for life. I got to realize what was going on with my body, that it was possible to fight this disease. Now I live and enjoy life, and I feel a healthy woman. Fragment from TV show You Can Do This. This married couple also came back to life thanks to health-improving system and Vivaton preparation. But there was the time when doctors prescribed her 20 tablets a day, and the state of her blood was just disastrous, the woman. And now we are healthy. My blood test is so good that I'm just ready to fly to space. Everything has come to a norm. This woman's husband has suffered myocardial infarction. After every 10 steps, he had to stop and put a tablet under his tongue. Now he's 72, and he feels quite a different person. I managed to get rid of osteochondrosis at this age, and I can say quite definitely that I got rid of it. All this only thanks to the system, as no medication that the doctors prescribed to me had any effect upon me. They had no effect upon me. I had a bag. It was quite a unique bag. I just called it my field survival kit. When I go on business trip, I always look for my bag. It must always be handy. Validol, Validol, Alahol, Alahol. And I was always quiet that my bag is near at me. But in this way, I have come to the state of neither life nor death, not even a joy, just struggling to survive with the evident symptoms of defeat. Having changed her mode of life, this woman returned health to herself. So this system is that very mechanism of self-regulation to which everyone should come eventually. Irina Likhovtseva, a doctor. I have brought to Alexander Mikhailovich my relative who was very seriously ill, and she had sclerodermitis, and her state of health was very aggravated, and the doctors would not even agree to take her for treatment. And she was really, her state was hopeless. And eventually now she's all right, now she feels well, and I also have recovered myself. Gynecologist Tamara Drokina and her patients, Marina. My husband and I wanted very much to have a child, but pregnancy wouldn't come, and so I decided to consult a doctor who works on Vivaton system. This is how I have found Tamara Ivanovna. She had me checked up, and the result was quite pessimistic for me. The pregnancy was unlikely to occur. I came to her with my eyes full of tears and was surprised to hear her encouraging words. Don't cry, it's no trouble. After 3 months of my special vitaminotherapi and Vivaton system, I managed to become pregnant and give birth to a wonderful, healthy boy. Every day, looking at our child, we feel so grateful to the doctor Tamara Ivanovna and Vivaton system. Allah, I got married at the age of 35 and wanted very much to have a baby. But there were problems with conception. Even now, those words ring in my ear. What are you talking about, my darling? Don't even dare to dream of a child. This miracle will never ever happen. With such a verdict, I rushed to Tamara Ivanovna. Her optimism helped me become pregnant and bear a baby up to the time of delivery. I wish every woman such a wonderful pregnancy as I had at my age of 38. The child was born in time, healthy, and he suckled breast milk till 1 year and a half. Doctors would say that a Moscow woman cannot have breast milk at such an age. I took Vivaton preparation, and it helped me. And I also feel so much obliged to that wonderful doctor. This is what real doctors should be like. Zinaida Kirienko, a film actress. I suddenly scalded my arm, and the doctor said that half a year later there will be no trace of anything, and I would rest décolleté. She needn't have waited for half a year. The specialist from Vivaton succeeded in 3 days, so well that she even managed to take a shower. I refreshed myself after a week's imprisonment in a uniform. Looked at my arm. It's okay. Look at this photo. You are witnessing the dynamics of delivering of psoriasis. Considerable improvements began at the time when this man changed his mode of life and took on a new nutrition system and vegetable preparation, speed up the process of convalescence. In Orthodox medicine, this illness is considered incurable. Here you see allergic reactions, the cause of which is hepatic cirrhosis. The same picture can be observed on the back. Huge blood-wet parts of the skin, but the patient allowed herself to be photographed only after she achieved considerable improvement, and here at last complete recovery. It's hard to believe that you see the same person. The puffiness disappeared from her face. It became younger. Gangrene is direct threat to leg amputation. This woman wanted to throw herself out of the window, so unbearable was her pain. And now you are watching the dynamics of recovery. Look how her physical state has changed. A terrible burn from the exploded gas stove. Even bone tissue has suffered considerably. And here you see the result achieved without antibiotics, hormones, with the help of vegetable preparation Vivaton. This elderly man is 89. He faced a terrible diagnosis, 2 malign tumors of stomach. Here you see the shooting of April 1999. I kept on losing my weight till I finally found myself in hospital. I was told that this was the end. His relatives snatched Vivaton and the regeneration system of Saveolov as at a straw. After the course of treatment with Vivaton, 2 months later, at the Institute of Gastroenterology, a controlled gastroscopy was made. The tumors in the pylorus, which caused stenosis, fully resolved. And what do the doctors think about that? Frankly speaking, they don't believe it. They say there might have been a mistake in diagnosis, because otherwise it looks fantastic. Yuri had had a whole bunch of serious diseases, one worse than another: cyclothymia, pyelonephritis, brain membrane inflammation. Because of great amount of antibiotics, he nearly lost his ear. No remedies gave any results, and Yuri received permanent disability. I began taking preparation Vivaton, and those who observed me said, "That's all. You don't need any better proof that this system works." Yuri got rid of extra weight. All the previous diagnoses have been removed. Having cured himself, he began working in the firm Vivaton as a masseur, and now he can help others recover their health. Vivaton Center in the town of Almetievsk. This woman is a doctor pharmaceutist. She had to quit her job because of allergy to medical preparations. After she transferred to a healthy way of life on the methods of academician Saveolov Derabin, she forgot about allergy and duodenal ulcer. Pharmaceutist: I learned to treat myself and other people, and I have no exacerbation, neither in spring nor in autumn. I have no allergy, in spite of the fact that I am in permanent contact with my allergens. This patient suffers with osteochondrosis. When she was first brought to Vivaton Center, somebody said, "Look, this old thing is about 90, and she also wants to live." Now she is undergoing the third course of massage. I forget my stick in the corner sometimes. It means I will walk. I used to dance in a good company. I will do it again. I do hope. The first words which I said in Vivaton were, "Help me, I'm dying." My arm and head ached so much that I even couldn't dress. And now I do everything by myself, even canned vegetables. Don't wait till you are brought here. People are extremely kind here. I have never met anywhere such sympathy and concern as here. There was a time when it seemed to me that I don't belong to this life anymore. The diagnosis were dysbacteriosis, food allergy, and I was to rely just on my own self. Now I feel so well that I can say with a full confidence, Vivaton has given me a second life. It gave me a chance to feel tomorrow. It was just Vivaton that has brought me back to life, not only as a person, but also as a woman.
Vivaton меня вернул не только к жизни как человека, но я стала радоваться этой жизни как женщина.
At any meeting with audience, Alexander Mikhailovich shows his first patient, his own pictures. Here he is standing with his father. He is here, 15, already wearing glasses with dioptry 3.5. Now his eyesight has become much better, 1.5. Here he is 24. The first shock walk of the communist labor in the mine Artyom Severna. Now compare, he is 46. His arms and neck are open to show off youth of skin. Look at the picture of 1988. He is at Leningrad television studio, and this is 10 years later. Such is the dynamics are rejuvenating. A little of history. Savelovul children, I can't boast that I have come to my today's results through my head. No, unfortunately, I've covered my way through pathology, through helplessness. Tuberculosis, scoliosis, anthracosis. This is a sad heritage of the miner's past. Heart disease, osteochondrosis, duodenal ulcer, varicose veins. This is not yet a full list of his diseases that were to carry him away into the grave. And all this happened at the time when his long-cherished dream to become a singer was being realized. While a second-year student of the Gnesses Music Institute, he was the super of the Bolshoi Theater at that time, and he was to sing the role of Boris Godunov in the Bolshoi. And suddenly, complete disaster. A singer without a lung is the same as a ballet dancer without a leg. And he decided he won't have himself operated on. After he had sent his 3 ward mates to a morgue, he arrayed himself in a robe of a long Negro who died the last, and he fled from the 4th floor of the hospital. Having said no to surgeons, our fugitive pounced on medicine literature. He was to find out what was going on there inside his body, the master of which he did not seem to be. He studied the works of official medicians, as well as non-traditional, and having assimilated himself to Baron Munchausen, he dragged himself out of the slough of disease. It happened when he met a world-known biochemist, Vitaly Vasilievich Karavayev. And having taken his ideas with all his heart, he proved by his own practice their truth. He managed to win in his single combat with death. It was at that time that he swore to continue Karavayev's cause. Together with his inheritance, he took upon himself a tough pressing of his ideas. A word to eyewitnesses. The former correspondent of TASS in Uzbekistan remembers the times when the health ministry resolutely refused to study the methods of healthy way of life, when the propaganda of wisdom of centuries was persecuted with persistence whether of a better application. That's why he understands better than anyone at what great cost Alexander Derabin got recognition and developed alternative direction in medicine. Yevdokimov, director of Vivaton Center in the city of Almaty. He was one of the first real followers and pupils who developed all this and got recognition. I must tell him thanks a lot that we continue our work with all his preparations and we have a chance to help people. Zakharchenko, editor-in-chief of journal Engineering of Use. At that time, we didn't manage to have Karavayev publicly recognized. The circle against him was too tough and persistent. That's why I'm listening to you with great pleasure. Hooray! I'm real pleased to see that the cause of Karavayev is living. Savyolov at the building of Moscow State University after Lomonosov. When Vitaly Vasilievich Karavayev died, I was to take all this burden of his ideas upon my shoulders. On the one hand, it was a burden, but on the other hand, it was unheard of joy. Firstly, it is a chapel of science, a club of scientists of Moscow University. Among the audience were the most well-known scientists. There was such a club of wisdom, and I am grateful to Providence that I have been to it. And you know, I've got a form application for my book that was demanded by the scientists. It's a great thing to me.
Самые крупные ученые просят продать им книгу мою. И она сохранилась, и я думаю, что это тоже память великая.
Alexander Mikhailovich Savyolov Derabin never denied official medicine, never confronted it, but he was always cooperational with it. He would enter big medical auditories like a gladiator on a battle, and hot discussions started. And those for whom a doctor's precept, "don't do harm," was not a hollow sound, became his allies. Propagating a healthy way of life, he went wherever he was invited. He read lectures in our country and abroad, many thousands of audience, hundreds of cities and lots of countries. However, Alexander Mikhailovich found time for working at plant preparation, ecologically pure and highly effective. He would sit up nights in the laboratories of Moscow University, closed from outside. He contacted with the scientists of many branches of knowledge, absorbing their experience. The time was pressed. It was necessary to assimilate a huge amount of information and embody it into something visible, to create such a preparation which could give a cell all it needs to make it irresistibly healthy. The stories of wonderful healings with the help of healthy way of life and Vivaton preparation were narrated from mouth to mouth. The sick people came and walked from all over. There was no time to sleep. The telephone rang day and night. He needed the help of doctors as he needed fresh air. Derabin: my biggest dream is that of to deliver all my achievements to big medicine so that it could spread it all over and bring to every corner. You know, I'm not a medicine. It's hard to me to do it, and I'm not striving for it. It's not really my business, because I've got my favorite profession, which I love and find it great joy. Many responded to his call, but there was none to deliver his burden. So he had to forget temporarily about singing. The times changed rapidly. The alternative tendencies in medicine were rapidly developing. From neglecting the wisdom of centuries, they took to another extreme, groundless abusing orthodox medicine. Alexander Mikhailovich was not among the abusers, as he used to avoid extremes, striving for a golden mean. Savyolov: I want the people to hear me. It's beyond any doubt that there are some advantages in orthodox medicine, technical as well. Sometimes there is a case of a severe inflammatory process, which should be extinguished as in the state of source. Now, medicine fulfills its function, and we can't do without it. In any situation, it justifies itself, and quite successfully, let alone the spheres of orthopedy, traumatology, ambulance service. I'm sure that sooner or later we will join our efforts as I know that the best doctor is the one who will not bring a patient to a heart pathology. This knowledge gave me Hippocrates, Ibn Sina, and the Eastern wisdom of Tibet.
Почему? Потому что я знаю, как говорил Гиппократ, и у Ибн Сина это есть, вот, и в восточной мудрости есть в смысле Тибета, в том, что самый лучший врачеватель это специалист, который делает все возможное, чтобы гигиеническими средствами и профилактикой и оздоровлением не допустить своего пациента к тяжелым патологиям.
In the Holy Scripture it is said, "One who has ears will hear me." Many doctors heard and suggested joint research, preclinical testing of Vivaton. A word to scientists. Ecological Institute after Herzen. Sotnikov professor, why we have come out to Vivaton? We consider it one of the most powerful antioxidants, which is applied for rejuvenating, for normalizing a number of cell processes connected with membrane. Kharkov Research Institute of Venerology and Dermatology. Goncharenko, head of laboratory. As to the first direction, molecular membrane mechanism of Vivaton, or to be more exact, its influence on the cell, we may speak now about Vivaton bearing two functions. Plastic, which means providing a cell with all it needs for its nutrition and life activity. And the second function, it has a regulating, informative function. Vivaton restores these functions. St. Petersburg Research Institute of Oncology. Bespalov, candidate of medical sciences. Having studied Vivaton and its ingredients, I have counted about 33 agents which could prevent malign tumors. So we are at the initial stage of applying Vivaton for prevention cancer. Russian Center of Perinatology, Midwifery and Gynecology. Sukhi, head of laboratory of clinical immunology. When we see very powerful clinical effects of this preparation, you know, it's the best impetus to investigate what it is aimed at and what is going on with the body. Domashneва, immunologist, candidate of biological scientist. The preparation creates such conditions in the body that can be expressed in one phrase: optimal function of all the cells. Zabludovsky, candidate of biological sciences. The preparation of wide spectra gives a marked effect in healing wounds, in a strong biostimulating, and in some diseases could be quite useful. It's non-toxic, non-carcinogenic.
Не канцерогенен, о чем имеется уже соответствующее заключение.
Especially this concerns the population of all the regions who had suffered after the accident in Chernobyl. Here are the murderous results of check-up held recently in the Ukraine and Belarus. Only 20% of the children, which is the future of a nation, can be considered healthy. Radiation has carried away thousands of lives. According to competent sources, about 10,000 people. It sounds menacing. Unfortunately, the world medicine cannot offer to the victims of radiation any real help. Who are they to expect the help from in this case? Goncharenko, head of laboratory, Kharkov Research Institute of Dermatology and Venerology. We've got fine results on the experimental animals, where it is shown that in cases of acute radiation pathology, Vivaton increases 2.5 times the life rate at mortal radiation doses, and there are also good results that we got with those who had been in Chernobyl. The materials of radiobiological convention held in Kiev in September 1993 prove for the fact that Vivaton was used widely as a radioprotector, or in other words, the preparation which removed radioactive substances from the liquidators of the accident in Chernobyl. The research in the Experimental Medical Institute after Himalayas showed that Vivaton stimulates synthesis of interferon in the cells of marrow, which is utterly important in treating any virus infection. Vishnevsky Institute has confirmed high effectivity of the preparation in healing festering wounds. Vivaton, elixir of life.
Vivaton.
As showed, the latest research, Vivaton, has 200 ingredients, and it's very close to plasma by its composition. Its unique formula involves a whole complex of vitamins, macro and micro elements, amino acids, both replaceable and non-replaceable. There are also tanning agents, essential oils, and many other components. But the most important feature of it is that all the substances are nature compounds easily assimilated by body. Vivaton is a blended plastic material which gives the cell all to make it healthy, inaccessible for viruses, microbes, and bacteria. Its rich composition provides surprising variety of its healing properties. It removes from a body toxins, salts of heavy metals, radioactive elements. It protects the body from a harmful influence of environment, stops growth of tumors, raises immunity, slows down aging processes, heals wounds, resolves edemata, anesthetizes, brings the temperature down, suppresses pathogenic microflora. But one should always remember that Vivaton is not a universal panacea. It's just an active helper, especially to those who decided to change his mode of life in accordance with laws of nature. And you have seen a great number of examples. Just these results have awakened great enthusiasm with the doctors. 114 leading research institutes, medical centers joined up to clinical research of both the preparations, Vivaton, and regenerating system of academician Savelos Derabin. The results have exceeded the achievements of world practice in many branches of medicine. They have stimulated other doctors, practitioners, and scientists explorers towards cooperation. Savelov. For instance, in the city of Novosibirsk Cardiological Center, under the leadership of a charming doctor, member correspondent Litasova, we conducted a big research work, and in those cases where the collapse after heart operation was 37%, we have achieved the result of 5-7%. Just imagine, death rate has fallen down 30%. Here you see black and white. We worked before and after the operation. If you worked at the Institute of Virus Preparations, we managed to achieve the same good results. If the flu virus gave 100% of that, we received the first 34%, the second 60%, the third 80%, depending on the method of introducing into a body. If we began working at the Institute of Mother and Child, the international statistics was 7-10%, and we have received 60% and even higher. Here you see the results without using antibiotics, hormones, or chemical preparations, and the last one, 91%, we've made the synthesis with antibiotics treating primary barrenness.
И последний, когда мы получили 91%, мы синтез сделали с антибиотиками. То есть получили 91%, то есть препараты, Vivaton и антибиотики дали.
Russian Center of Gynecology, Midwifery and Perinatology, LAPIC, senior member of staff. We took a group of 18 women with primary barrenness, and 18 of them have conceived. Moscow Oncological Institute after Herzen. Denikeyeva, a member of Medical Engineering Center. Vivaton, by its immunocorrecting properties, is much higher than the existing antioxidants and correspondingly preparations of immunocorrecting feature, as it has been proved by a number of laboratory tests. Polyclinics of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Levchenko, Irido diagnosed. If I myself had not seen these people after they underwent a course of treatment with Vivaton, I would have never believed that I'm looking into these eyes a second time. I guess it was Talleyrand's expression, be afraid of the first impulse. It's the most sincere. Dear Alexander Mikhailovich, I've got this impulse now. to offer you my help as a scientist and a doctor in the cause of introducing your propaganda. Helmholtz Institute of Eye Diseases. Malayev, Senior Member of Staff. In our institute, there will be a department or a laboratory which will start exploring non-traditional methods of diagnostics and treatment. I hope that academician de Rabin will express his goodwill towards our initiative, and our institute will be ready to try this preparation while treating different eye pathologies. Moscow Research Institute of Stomatology, Kirichenko stomatologist, Vivaton in stomatology is like a magic wand. We may firstly try all kinds of Vivaton, and then secondly, in all parts of stomatology. It is the treatment of such superlative inflammations as phlegmon, abscess, without antibiotics that might result in dysbacteriosis, allergies with all their consequences. Besides, its treatment of a temporal and lower facial joint, neuralgia. Then come all kinds of gum diseases, gingivitis, undivitis, parodontitis, parodontosis. Kuznetsova. People come with a sharp pain. We apply the plate to a sore tooth, and in 15 minutes the pain is gone. Gurin, candidate of medical sciences. The one who has tasted these preparations can't do without them anymore. They substitute for a physiotherapy room. Odessa, Therapeutic Center of Health and Family. Hi, Professor. We have started using the Rabin system with great interest. I myself have observed about 80 patients with different gynecologic diseases. Well, what can I resume? The patients with inflammatory diseases, chronic inflammatory diseases, very good results. The central clinics in the city of Ryazan. Goryazeva, head physician. Nikolai Alexandrovich Semashko, a founder of our health service, always propagated preventive measures. That's why when Alexander Mikhailovich offered to use the ways of preventive work with the population, which our staff was attracted to, and we accepted his suggestion to make us earliest explorers with great pleasure. Sharipova, head physician of Health Ministry Clinics. I have long known your methods and consider myself your soulmate. Non-traditional medicine never advertised itself. It supported itself and existed for years. Our clinics is geriatric. Our patients love chemical drugs and demand them in handfuls. Maybe eventually our patients will realize the advantages of non-traditional methods, and the doctors will stop prescribing them those drugs.
Внедряя вашу схему, ваш образ жизни и питания, и введение вот этого препарата Виватона, который обладает также противовоспалительным, противомикробным действием,
Moiseev, head physician of the polyclinics of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Alexander Mikhailovich has covered a long research way, and only after that he started offering his programs in different spheres of medicine. And by now, we've got tremendous results in curing most complicated diseases in gynecology, urology, cardiovascular disorders, diseases of osteomuscular system, skin diseases. We've got quite great results with the gravest problem of today, the problem of osteoporosis. Osteoporosis and caries of bone, followed with cyst formation. When somebody says that it's impossible because it sounds fantastic, then Alexander Mikhailovich shows real X-ray photos and the patients themselves who forgot about any improvised means like crutches, and only after that one has to believe that such a miracle is possible.
всякие подручные средства в форме плюшек, костылей там и так далее. И когда приходится увериться в том, что все-таки
Decades of hard labor have brought to official recognition for a number of merits before the mankind. Academician Saviola Dirabin has been awarded Albert Schweitzer UNESCO Prize. He became a holder of the International Golden Grand Prix Europe '98. He was nominated a Man of the Year for his contribution to spiritual and physical health of Belarusia. He won a diploma of a world-known Sri Lanka Institute of Alternative Medicine. All his preparations are certified, and the herb collection and spirit extract received pharmacopoeia rating. Quite recently, he was awarded a title of academician of the International Academy of Public Development, which is a very high estimation of his labor. But there is also people's recognition. Academician Saviola Dirabin, they receive lots of letters. Sometimes they have no address on the envelope, but they always find their addressee. Alexander Mikhailovich has a big mail, hasn't he? Very big. Full text after broadcasts and publications. And there are some letters very hard to read, several pages telling about all their life, asking for help. Some write poems. I help answer these letters, give the people contact, phone numbers.
Книжки им посылаю, значит, даю телефоны, чтобы записались к врачам. Ну и то, что сама знаю, то тоже им отвечаю, пишу. Вот. Потом есть даже люди, которые только вот посмотрели его передачу или прочитали вот газету, стихи пишут Александру Михайловичу.
A question from the hall, a girl. It's not 1 or 2 years. It's 20 years past, and only now it reached the city of Ryazan. Why 20 years of silence?
200 километров. В общем, никогда никаких об этом не разговоров. Обычно у нас как, слухи расходятся, официально, неофициально. Но никакой информации вообще. Почему вот эти 20 лет было такой тишины, можно сказать?
This question should probably be addressed to the Health Ministry, which was to take care of the people's health. So if I don't know who they take care of, in place of one cured, hundreds of sick people come. If this problem is not regarded on a global state level, it will be of no use. I will give anything to manage, but they wouldn't take my help.
Я отдам, пусть занимается, пусть работает, все, пусть лечит людей. Даже если я много потеряю,
Let the state
очень много потеряю.
treat people. Even if I lose much, I will give everything. A question from the hall. You say that Vivaton is good for anyone, and at the same time, a man is individual. How should we understand it?
Человек прочитал инструкцию, начал применять на себе этот методом проб и ошибок, опять же, получается.
Academician Saviola Dirabin is asked numerous questions, and all of them demand an answer. Just that's why he began to create Vivaton centers, where people could get answers to their simple and not very simple questions, where they could, by extern, liquidate their illiteracy towards their own health. The centers spring up wherever there is counter-enthusiasm, and Alexander Mikhailovich is always ready to meet anyone who needs his help. You need his results for being convinced? Welcome. Preparations and methods of applying them? Welcome. Teaching new approaches to health improving? Welcome. Need his help? Welcome. And the people from different corners of the world keep coming to him and always get what they come for. Last year, the mayor of an old Russian city, Ryazan, visited Moscow school where senior pupils are taught on the program A Home Healer. And he also visited Moscow center's Vivaton to get convinced himself how exact has been the information that he had reached. Mamatov, mayor of Ryazan. There is a gist in what he does, and today I got convinced that much is being done. We met with Alexander Mikhailovich, looked at the health centers, saw a school of future, school of health with our own eyes, and we saw what we were talking about, and we decided that by all means we must develop this direction in Ryazan as well. And I hope that in the nearest future in our city will be open Vivaton Center as well. He said, and he did. Half a year later, in the central polyclinics of the city of Ryazan, Vivaton Center was opened. This, in Derabin's practice, was the very first case, the first swallow, when the municipal powers found means for developing this health tendency in their region. And let's hope that the example of Ryazan will be followed by many others. A delegation from the old Russian town Kimry of Tverskaya Oblast also visited Savyolo-Deryabin. There in those places used to be the estates of Princess Saviolas, and Alexander Mikhailovich is their direct descendant. After the visit, a group of specialists was sent there for retraining medical personnel. And now there on the Volga, in the afterworks sanatorium, a Vivaton Center is functioning. The messengers from the city of Vladivostok signed an agreement on cooperation, and soon Vivaton will be registered in one of the most respectable medical centers. Commander-in-Chief of the Baltic Aviation sent his regards from Kaliningrad to the Colonel of Cossack Army in Medicine, Academician Savyolo-Deryabin, and invited him to cooperation. Abramov, General Enterpriser. I've come from Kaliningrad to invite him and remind of those good projects that have been planned with his participation. I think now is the time, especially in the terms of free economic zone, such fellow championship can find its good application within the programs connected with investments. From Murmansk to Yalta, from St. Petersburg to the far eastern bay of Wrangel, Vivaton centers are appearing, notwithstanding either distance or borders. And indeed, can there be any distances for a healthy way of life? For instance, in the port of Nakhodka there is functioning a joint Russian-Altai venture Dana, and in its cosmetic saloon our party is presented by Vivaton. Russian-Chinese joint venture Dana. Tutrumova, General Director. We have grant services from permanent makeup, which nobody in Russia does. And now that we presented Russian party with Vivaton, and I believe that Vivaton will gain popularity in our saloon, I consider that cooperation of Chinese and Russian cosmetology will have a brilliant future. News from China. In the embassy of Russian Federation in Peking, there is its own health center where groups of specialists from Vivaton come to improve their health. Rogachev, the ambassador of Russia in China. Being an ambassador in China, I do hope that in some time we'll be able to join our efforts and create health center with our colleagues.
Мог бы создать какие-то совместные медицинские оздоровительные центры со своими китайскими коллегами.
The first step has been made. From Peking came a delegation of Doctors Associates of Craniofacial Hospital of People's Liberation Army of China, and it was hosted not by Health Ministry, but by Academician Savyolov and the head physician of Foreign Ministry Clinics Moiseev. This meeting might put a beginning to a long-term business cooperation, which as a matter of fact has begun. The specialists of Vivaton firm have gone through a course of training in this hospital. Chinese party got very much interested in Derabin's methods on removing keloid cicatrix, which usually appear after operation. It should be mentioned that this delegation from China is not the first one. 10 years ago, doctors and colleagues already came from Peking to exchange experience. They were accompanied by representatives of World Federation of Healthcare. The messengers from Italy also visited Savyolo-Deryabin in his Prichistinka lane. The leaders of National Academy of Psychobiogenetics discussed obtaining exclusive right for distribution in Europe both health system and preparation of academician Savelo Dryabin. Great interest for cooperation was shown by one of the leading cosmetologist firm in USA, Aveda Corporation. His manager, together with his wife, received Alexander Mikhailovich in their own home in the city of Minneapolis and paid him a reciprocal visit in Moscow. However, their business cooperation was not to be realized so far because of non-stability of economic situation in Russia. In Greece, for instance, there is functioning a production line, and the first experimental party of the product has been output, elixir of life and spirit potion of herbs. Academician Dryabin's expert recently returned from Spain, where introduction of his methods of health regenerating is being prepared in some clinics of the country. Savelo Dryabin has received invitations to work in many countries of Europe, Sweden, Finland, Italy, France, Switzerland. The opening of Vivaton centers is being prepared in Slovakia, Hungary, Great Britain, Israel, Poland, and Bulgaria. Big orders for the preparation have been received from South Korea, China, Yugoslavia, and other countries. Successfully is working the group of specialists in New York, achieving supreme results. News from New York. Many people who got disappointed in official medicine come to New York Health Center. This man has gone through all the circles of hell: operation, radiation, chemical therapy. His state was so hard that, having lost any hope to get help from orthodox medicine, he turned to natural sources, and he succeeded. A man: I didn't believe, but I did. And then I felt better. The doctor, chemical therapist, was surprised at such considerable improvement. He told me, "You needn't do anything else. You are a healthy person."
Врач сказал мне, что можете ничего больше не делать. Прекратите, никакие лекарства не принимайте, ничего, что вы здоровый человек.
A woman came with a whole bunch of diseases: skin cancer, stenocardia, hypertension, obliterating endarteritis. A pain in her legs didn't give her to walk 15-20 steps without stopping. And now, the woman: I didn't really hope that something might help me. It didn't happen too soon, maybe 2 months later. I have walked a big distance with my husband up to Manhattan Beach. We were walking there quite a bit. Then came into a shop, walked back, and all this time I had some unusual sensation that something is happening to me. On my way back home, I realized I didn't feel any pain in my legs.
Что-то меня такое волновало, беспокоило. Я не могла понять, что что-то не так. И только на обратном пути я вдруг поняла, что ноги-то не болят.
Total in Russia and beyond its borders, there are functioning about 150 Vivaton centers. Some of them don't stand economic pressing and close, but in place of those there appear new ones with more vital leaders. For instance, Yekaterinburg Center now moved to a spacious, restored building in the center of the city. Recently, we got a speaking letter from there. News from Yekaterinburg. Omelchenko, director of Vivaton Center of the city of Yekaterinburg. Dear Alexander Mikhailovich, I am very pleased to meet you and to thank you for a wonderful preparation. On my own self, I got convinced that it's not just a remedy, but it's a whole ideology, a whole tendency. I would like to invite you. Welcome to our city. Thank you very, very much for your system and your kind attitude to us. Being a doctor, I would like to share my results that we have achieved in treating fibromyalgia thanks to your preparations. Terms of treatment, 6-8 months, but we do without any operations. As to urological diseases, prostate, good, no problems. Gastrointestinal tract, no problems either. Now I work much with malignant tumors. Within the last 2-3 years, not a single death. I mean those from whom official medicine refused.
Не то чтобы в основном пациентов
this region felt great need in doctors of new formation who regard a human body as a whole, indivisible, and teach their students the laws given by nature itself. Question from the hall. It is a good idea to introduce, while at the university, special subjects on non-traditional medicine, not to retrain doctors after that. A reasonable suggestion, but so far academician Derabin had to start his own school on retraining personnel of middle and higher links. First, it was a faculty of Ecology of Man in Moscow State University, Saviolov at the building of Moscow University. We opened our own faculty of man's ecology together with academician Andrei Petrovich Kapitsa. Students from all the countries of the world came here, from America, France, Germany, and also doctors came here. It was for them like raising the level of their professional skill, as if they became ecologists. And when they came here to this chapel of science, it felt like they leave this building considerably enriched. Kubrak, a doctor from USA, California. We are a whole delegation from Los Angeles, and we hope our time here will not be wasted, and we will bring youth, beauty, and health to our California. It may be assumed that the long-cherished dream of academician Saviolov Derabin is being realized. Doctors, professionals practice prevention of diseases and regenerations of people's health. I have high pharmaceutical education. These courses exceeded all my expectations. Here you deal with a system of survival, and besides, people here are so kind. I'm phytotherapist by education. I'm a doctor. It's been long since I took up phytotherapy. I work in the Center of Tibetan Medicine after Peter Badmaev in St. Petersburg. Now I will be applying this method for treating osteochondrosis, gynecological diseases, cardiovascular systems. I'm a doctor cosmetologist. I was attracted to this book with its beautiful title, Prolong Your Youth. And with this everything is said. I have read the book. It's worthwhile to take on a healthy way of life instead of wasting lots of time on buying some special creams. A correct way of life will bring to beautiful life. Gynecologist. I'm from Vilnius. I'm a doctor gynecologist, candidate of sciences. You know, what is the most unpleasant thing? Patients come to me after they have tried everything and consulted all the doctors, and finally they come to me thinking I can do something to them. I think that maybe applying the system I will be able to help. That's why I have come here.
Не безнадежным, но уже очень тяжелым в этом плане, больным. Из этого я приехала.
A nurse from Ryazan. I guess here is a radical transformation of consciousness, because we used to live on totally different criteria. And now that we've done this course, it's necessary to revalue all our former values and begin all from the very beginning. Елена Saviolova, Director of School of a Man's Ecology, Vivaton. The name of our school speaks for itself. We speak not only about environmental ecology, the ecology of water, air, but most of all, ecology of a man. How can we survive in our ecological situation so that our relatives, our children, were healthy? In one word, it may be called lickbez, liquidation of illiteracy. It's that basic information which is necessary to have to be able to control your body state. Many people come to us from different regions, from different countries, and even Muscovites. I consider that Vivaton, and it's without any pathos, is a path to the 21st century. The one who doesn't have it, doesn't have it. Having devoted his life to prevention practice and improving health, Alexander Mikhailovich learned one evident truth. The basis of health is laid down at the earliest age, or better before the birth. That's why it's necessary to prepare future parents to lay down the ABC of a healthy way of life since early childhood. The health of nation is in the healthy children. As a signal source, sounded data of academician Arshavsky that now about 90% of babies are born physically immature, prematurely born, 17% of them, and it's every fifth child, with genetic pathology. The scientists consider that when their number reaches 30%, there will start an active process of the generation of nation. To this, it should be added that nearly every fifth newly born is with mental disorders. If we sum up all these troubles of our society and take into consideration that death rate exceeds birth rate, then just think who is to come after us, and what else should we wait for? Demographic disaster seems to be near at hand. Gainulina, head physician of Infant's House. From maternity house, they come with a diagnosis: narcotic encephalopathy, alcoholic encephalopathy. These are the diagnoses which are frequently stated in our maternity hospitals. Apanasenko, doctor pediatrician, we all lead a wrong way of life. We don't eat properly, we don't move as we should, we don't bring up our children properly, and we are born ill from the very start. Padusenko, doctor gastroenterologist. I work in gastroenterology department and I see that we have 40 children on the waiting list and we can't put them into hospital. It's with great pain that I see how much we have destroyed children's health. Professor gynecologist, the girl teenagers must be already prepared to become mothers. And we have so many women smokers, women who drink alcohol, let alone narcotics. They have tremendous complications. These are toxemia of pregnancy, hemorrhage in delivery, and they give birth to children hypertrophics. This should be given great attention. To this problem should be attached TV, radio, our church, to somehow bring to a woman's consciousness that it's quite an admissible situation. The Convention of Neonatologists has just finished its work, and there have been brought about very bad figures. As a very bad perspective for the future, the population of Russia is to be considerably reduced.
Сейчас прошел съезд неонатологов, и там привезены вообще в плане прогноза очень плохие цифры, что население России должно очень и очень сократиться.
После этих слов
After these words, the microphone was switched off as they passed the information, not for the press. One can just wonder what else is hidden behind if just published statistics makes your hair stand on end. Professor, and that's why now all the systems aimed at improving a woman's health are of great importance. Today, we will discharge the woman from the hospital who has been living on Professor Derabin's system more than 1 year.
Уже не один год живет по системе, разработанной профессором Дерябиным. Это система Vivaton, которая до наступления беременности.
This woman suffered inflammatory diseases of kidneys. She had urolithic disease. She had stones in the liver, and it was just this system that helped her deliver of all these diseases. By the start of her pregnancy, she came quite healthy. She felt fine during delivery and gave birth to a wonderful, healthy boy.
И это, конечно, очень хорошо отразилось и на течение беременности, и на течение родов. Она прекрасно себя вела в родах и родила здорового, хорошего малыша.
Kaliganova, gynecologist of Vivaton firm. When I observe a pregnant woman on Vivaton, she doesn't take any medicine, just the system itself, and she gives birth to a healthy child. The delivery goes on fine. I have a blue dream to healthen girls. Firstly, all comes from a woman. A healthy girl, a healthy pregnancy, healthy mother. A healthy mother means good upbringing. And here we have a big program. Alexander Mikhailovich has created a special program for future mothers in prevention diseases. The doctors enthusiasts from the city of Nakhodka, the eastern outpost of Russia, decided to start teaching a healthy way of life from the kindergarten. Подусенька, having arrived in the kindergarten, I checked what was the situation like, what microclimate, and I saw that children would be given everything here, and nutrition, and breathing. It failed again. A second attempt was taken in a Moscow kindergarten number 2213. Together with Lyudmila Yakovleva, the enthusiasts introduced some elements of preventive work on the system of academician Savyolo Deryabin. This was the subject of the Conference of Preschool Education. It was conducted by Medical Academy of Post-Diploma Education. But these are just approaches to the solution of the problem. When children asked Alexander Mikhailovich if he had a dream, he said that he dreamed about a school of future, a school of health. The realization of academician Savyolov's dream. On September the 1st, 1998, in the south region of the capital, was opened a school laboratory, a school of future, a school of health. But as Alexander Mikhailovich had no golden fish that could fulfill all his wishes, it took unheard of labor to have the school appear. All began with the Department of Education of South Region. Minkov, head of Department of South Region. I'm happy that 2 years ago I happened to meet Alexander Mikhailovich. I decided to try on myself what it's like, and I realized that I must share, I must tell other people. And then I asked Alexander Mikhailovich to take the first group of my heads of different institutions who had evident pathologies.
Первую группу моих руководителей учреждений, у которых, ну, скажем так, патология была уже налицо, и проблемы здоровья, они всегда были, и вот осложняет работу их.
Alexander Mikhailovich took this group, and when the course was finished, we held a press conference. And those 10 who had been treated by Alexander Mikhailovich answered the questions of other 500 heads of institutions who were sitting in the hall. Then there was another group. Then we took a decision to open 2 centers on the Deryabin system for the members of our staff. And thus, within a year, 700 of our teachers went through this system. At the same time, we thought that we started at the age of 40, 50. Maybe we should make an attempt to start with our children, not to retrain them in future. Besides, we could join their parents to this project. That's why 2 years ago we tried to begin this process not in this school building. And when we saw what result we have got, in 1 year, medicine supported us so actively that they said, "We are your allies."
В здании наших 2 детских садиков, которые были переданы под эту школу, то есть на маленьком коллективе. Только первые попытки, только прикоснулись. И когда мы увидели, какой результат мы получили за год, даже наблюдая за детьми и пытаясь их приобщить вот к этой методике, медицина нас теперь уже настолько активно поддержала, что сказали, ничего нам не надо, мы ваши союзники, не надо нам ни оплаты, ничего. Давайте вот пробивать, чтобы у нас это было больше, шире, глубже. Ну, в эпидемию гриппа, дело в том, что когда...
Katamina, director of school Ulukamoria. During the epidemic of flu, when all the region of Brateva was in quarantine, and all of Moscow as well, our children went to school. We had only 10 pupils, but it was not flu. This result was in old school Ulukamoria, which now has moved to a new palace. Belayev, prefect of the South region of the capital. It's a unique school. The teachers there take care of pupils' health, of their spiritual growing and their knowledge. The parents of these pupils participate in these processes themselves. Here is a special system of our academician Derabin, and thanks to these methods, the children will be constantly regenerated. Sotnikov, oncologist professor. Just imagine, I never thought that I will find myself in a situation like this. But now I think, yes, it's the cause of my life, because it's just here, the source. If you really want to resist that ecological pressing and constantly growing disease rate, chronic pathology, if we are going to do a preventive job,
для того, чтобы действительно можно было говорить о том, что мы можем заниматься и занимаемся профилактикой.
Here they will not just strengthen children's health, but also continue the course that was started in school number 987 of the South region to teach senior pupils to be healthy. It's just the main objective of the program, of course, a home healer. Ulyanova, director of school. One person cannot manage such a big project, and even one school will not be enough to start a thing. Only because we were together was it possible to move a stone from its place. Yuri Lishkov recently visited a new school, and the initiative of the South region received his approval. He expressed wish to have at least one school like this in every region of Moscow. So the model of preventive medicine in its different forms, health centers, schools of women's ecology, schools of health, started working and quite successfully. The course is expanding, developing. New and new layers of society are getting involved into this movement. The accumulated experience can be circulated, but within those not easy 20 years that academician Savel Derabin has been busy preventing diseases and improving people's health condition, he got to realize that it's impossible to make people healthy without providing them full value nutrition, as it was promptly mentioned by academician Scriabin. If a doctor treats a man, a veterinarian treats mankind. A model of ecologically pure agriculture. Question from the hall. Let's assume that we have settled down with food, what we should eat and what we shouldn't. But what shall we do about polluted air? Destroyed ecology. This girl has a vague idea of what quality is our foodstuff, for instance, measure of the milk. How many % of milk correspond to required norms? Jeraimovich, head department of Research Institute of Milk. There is such milk we have defined from 1.2 to 2%. Do you mean that we should pour out the rest of milk into a ditch? Less civil will not be to consume such milk, especially for children's diet, for ration. Such a strict approach is common not only towards dairy products in Russia, but the whole world. By great misfortune, all the milk cattle is treated by antibiotics, hormones, and chemical preparations. And if that's so, it's impossible to reach a higher level of quality of milk and dairy. As to meat, according to non-published information, up to 80% of the cattle are ill with mastitis and leukosis. Rejected animals are sent to a slaughterhouse and further processing. And all this gets on our table. Nobody's situation in other countries of the world. Only very rich people abroad can afford to use full-valued ecological pure products. They cost very expensive, but the overwhelming majority eats legs of bush stuffed with hormones, consumes drinks and sausages and cans stuffed with chemical additives. Our Russian consumer already becomes more suspicious and treats with mistrust those bright label goods, preferring not too bright but something more natural. Savelov, animals with mastitis leukosis are slaughtered, but besides they have numerous gastrointestinal diseases, and all this is eaten, and after that it's impossible to avoid the disease, and it's hard to believe that there is someone who is not yet ill. Everything and everybody is ill. all the animals, all the plants, and today not only adults can eat. But if we adults are such dirty scums, we are poisoning ourselves. But who gave us the right to give birth to a young generation and poison them and doom them to tortures? There is a saying, rejecting offer, offering due, and he got down to business. A singer of Moscow concert became a veteran now for the period of 15 years. In the morning farm, in the evening concert, the musicians would cover their noses with handkerchiefs. The doors of the farm which accompanied the singer were ineradicable. But the kit with documents, acts and resumes on healing properties of the plant preparation Vivaton, with which he treated cows, chickens, pigs and horses, was becoming thicker and thicker. His scientific practical base became 5,000 cattle and poultry farms. He showed unseen of healing effectiveness of the preparation. On cows 95%, on horses 100, on poultry 96. The spectrum of diseases healed by Vivaton was extremely wide. All kinds of mastitis and traumas, and diseases of respiratory organs, papillomatosis, myositis, the diseases of skin and hooves, salmonellosis, colibacteriosis, mycoplasmosis, and Marek disease. Veterinary Farming Council officially recognizes ampoule sterile Vivaton as a medicine. And the All-Union Exhibition of the National Economy in 1986 delivers to the author of the preparation methods of its supplying a golden medal for the highest quality of meat and dairy products. Savelov is talking with Sayeshev. It's my biggest pride, you see, how many awards I've got, international ones, but this is the golden medal of Edenha. But it was one of your first medals. There were other signs of recognition, the other way around. Veterinarians who were disturbed by his innovation and could not sleep quietly jeopardized his concert, terrorized him, hired all kinds of criminals to get rid of this unwanted innovator. Now that so many years collapsed, it's hard to recollect the tension of the struggle, but there was it. Such is the character of this person. Go up to the very end for great cause. From the archives of the TV channel Good Evening Moscow. You are not going to make a revolution in agriculture, are you? Yes, I am. My firm conviction is that all the rationalistas and inventors must create self-supporting cells to introduce into agriculture all their innovations. But this is what Research Institute does for decades. That's why there will be no result if so huge monsters deals with it. We have cured thousands of animals. We have worked in a great number of farms. It's unbearable labor. We've got lots of musicians, poets, physicists, mathematicians, and even with a scientific degree. And before a cow others, all are equal.
И работать сегодня, понимают, доктора наук.
И перед выменем коровы все равны.
Да, и перед выменем все равны.
At the outset of this project, there was a present mayor of Moscow, Yuri Leshkov, also a very enthusiastic transformer of life for the better. It was exactly him who helped open again Cooperative Vivaton when it was closed. Then it was transformed into the Institute of Traditional Methods of Healthing People and Animals, and then into Zao Vivaton. A competent opinion. I'm not a specialist in medicine, in sphere of medical preparations, but it seemed to me when we were examining the papers brought to me by the initiative group that this project is very interesting. Moreover, we saw many scientists, well-known experts, who consider the subject of this cooperative quite prospective, really useful, and in some way even revolutionary. Exactly revolutionary. Academician Savelov Deryabin, after his experience in 5,000 farms, got to realize that to receive ecologically pure products, revolution is needed, but not in the meaning of destroying the old, but vice versa, revival from the chaos of the agriculture which had existed in Russia from time immemorial, and exported production of supreme quality. And then he created the project of a special Savyolo farm, or abbreviated SSF, radically new dairy consuming farm with autonomous deep milk processing. This project got recognition in the scientific and business circles not only in our country, but also abroad. In his presentable active, the Golden Medal of Wedenhau USSR and Albert Schweitzer UNESCO Prize. 3 farms were fighting to be his official distributors, and one of them, Belgium, was ready to sign the agreement, but under the forces of the known economic reasons, it was not signed. However, it's going to be signed very soon. Now, Patriarchy undertaking some attempts as well. This project seems attractive for some big banks, financial structures, the leaders of some branches, and so on. This model is now being laid down into the state program of Russia. The merits of such farm are evident. It's based on a principle and new technology of maintaining cattle and young animals, which will result in considerable raise of productivity, and the squareage of the land will be reduced manifold. There is also envisaged treating animals only with plants preparation, Vivaton, which has proved irrefutable advantages before hormones and antibiotics. The word to experts. Berlin, head physician of a poultry factory. In spite of my 25-year experience, I have never seen such a preparation that could have a complete set of amino acids. They are all replaceable, they are 12, they are all there. There is iron, calcium, ascorbic acid, in one word, everything that is needed by a biological substance. Ishakov, head of chief department of the Ministry of Agriculture. This farm will be like that union where we'll check all his ideas. We will see if his methods prevent leukosis, mastitis, gastrointestinal diseases in young animals. As to the idea, I think it's very good. At that time, it was great courage to openly support Derabin. That's why Alex Zulevich speaks diplomatically, but when the cameras were switched off, he said that Derabin had done in veterinary more than all the research institutes taken together. Nosov, director assistant of a farming school of Timiryazov Agriculture Academy. I consider that as a state program, it would stand any expert evaluation. It's necessary just to make a start push, financial, legislative, and the matter will get going, and the process will be irreversible. At the State Duma of Russian Federation recently was established an expert council, which has supported all the spheres of academic Savyolov Derabin's activity. Listova, a member of expert council. What was made by enthusiasm must be transferred onto a state level, which is most important. Vivaton is a mode of life. It's impossible to launch 3 programs of a state importance without allies, without a group of support, which could accompany him everywhere and always. There were people from all spheres of public life, doctors, teachers, scientists, and political functionaries, clergymen and journalists, sportsmen and workers of art, businessmen and peasants. In one word, all those who wishes his country good. But for that, academician Savyolov Derabin was to possess a rare gift, to awaken enthusiasm in other people and to inspire them with his own example. Sociologists calculated that only 5% of the population of the planet can become the masters in the best meaning of this word. Working 18-20 hours on end, he managed at his 54 years to live several lives, and if those were stage lives that are finished as soon as curtain falls. He had those quite few both at the theater and cinema, but his real life is permanent change of professions, activities, combining incompatible. A miner, an actor, a singer, a veterinarian, a doctor, a scientist, a businessman, non-state functionary, but a functionary of a state scale. And he proves with his deeds, and not just with his words, how passionately he wishes Russia's revival. And all his deeds demand no less courage than conquering the North Pole, storming the greatest peaks of the world. This is the way of his best friend, a Russian traveler, Fyodor Konnikov, who again set off on a round-the-world voyage.
Друга русского путешественника Федора Конюхова, который снова ушел в кругосветное плавание на яхте. И на ее парусах снова красуется надпись «Vivaton».
All the newspapers, all the journals must speak today about that great traveler, because it's a landmark for our young, developing generation. It's a pillar, it's a marvelous person, a man of total fearlessness. He always says, as the God wants, so it will be. And he goes and he defeats. And wherever he goes, he always wins. Also, he is a great authority for me. And he is a great friend for me. These two fearless people have much in common, but what is the major thing about them is that they don't live on the principle, a day is out and thanks God. Their goals are far higher than just a biological existence, but they never think about it. They just live every other day as if it was their last day in their life. And if Fyodor Konnikov overcomes solitude in the boundless ocean, in the world of elements, Savioli Derabin overcomes solitude in the human world of passions, striving to make an order out of a chaos. Konnikov, an outstanding Russian traveler, I must sail round Antarctica and come to the polar stations, French and Russian. I will just be the first and bring them food stuff and your preparations and a gift from you, and there will be conducted communications through a computer, and you will give them some instructions through a computer.
Пароходом подвезем продукты и в том числе ваши препараты, чтобы полярники также, ну и от вас подарок, от вас привет. И там мы как раз проведем связь через компьютер, через...
Да, хотелось бы, чтобы мне их увидеть здесь по компьютеру.
Да, вы дадите какие-то рекомендации, я им передам.
In the art studio of Eduard Drobitsky. Eduard Drobitsky, chairman of the Union of the Artists of Russia and Abroad. Have you ever painted his portrait? No. Why? It's the most difficult thing to show on a canvas how a man does good to people. It must not be a portrait of one man, but it will be the portrait of several people, and then each person will add up to what maestro, academician, does. While Eduard Drobitsky thinks, the artist Victor Shilev is writing a portrait of the patriarch of all Russia, Joachim, who crowned on the throne small Peter I. And he is painting from his direct descendant, Alexander Saviolov. Berlin, doctor of economic sciences, a teacher of Moscow University. We've got many schools and managers in our country. They all must come to you to learn. And also they should invite you to their schools, so that you could tell them how you managed to create such an atmosphere in which you all work so well. A fragment from a TV program. Club Vivaton, 1998, 10 years later.
Я вас любил, любовь еще, быть может, в душе моей угасла не совсем, но пусть она в вас больше не тревожит. Я не хочу печалить вас ничем. Я вас любил безмолвно, безнадежно, то робостью, то ревностью томим. Я вас любил так искренно, так нежно, как дай вам Бог, любимой, быть другим.
At a birthday party, the actor Alexander Mikhailov told about a code of an officer's honor which his grandfather left to him while dying. Mikhailov, when dying, he said, "Remember for the rest of your life 4 phrases from our code. When you grow up, they will help you survive. First, you should give life to Russia, your motherland. Second, give your heart to a woman you love. Third, give your soul to the Lord, and the honor guard and keep to yourself. And years have passed, but I never betrayed these principles. And let the God your son not to forget these principles, and give him patience to carry the cross." It's very important.
Дай Бог тебе терпения, неси крест, замечательный крест, он тебе тяжелый.
These principles unite these two Alexanders who have some vague resemblance. I have many soulmates. We share the same thoughts, and these soulmates are always with me. They are my support, my fundament. Alexander Mikhailovich and his soulmates like to visit a wonderful man, expert kinologist, a big scientist, the owner of the rarest bird, a blue bird of happiness. And who knows, perhaps it adds up happiness to a big friendly family Vivaton. Blistanov, expert kinologist of Republican category. Not one bluebird of happiness brings happiness, but all is here in this house, pours down oil into your soul. Happiness is formed in one word, love for your king. And in this love there must not be meanness, wickedness. It must be pure, truthful, reliable.
Любовь, значит, к тому человеку, которого ты любишь. И в этой любви не должно быть подлости, не должно быть омерзения. Она должна быть чистой, правдивой и надежной. То есть, если...
If we all got together here, everything should be sincere here. And you will live with this aura, and it will bring to success.
Вы друг друга объединяете, и все это приведет к такому благополучию и в жизни, и в службе, и в быту, чтобы вот потом только это дело почувствуете. И вот в таком случае, вот в дни прощения,
one should be able to forgive everyone.
И обидчиков своих простить.
Everyone, and who cannot forgive, should be treated with love. And then a man will turn to this confession and will also love all that surrounds him. You should treat him as a sick man, and you should treat him with your own love. You should love all from the bottom to the top, and admire all. And then he will also get to love you. I will tell you frankly, I can't help admiring everything I see around me.
У меня нет ничего в жизни, чтобы меня не вызывало восхищения. Вот если мы все вместе с вами вот так вот
If we are tied all together with such love, if we feel each other, we will be invincible. And we should organize so that we could hold back all the old and multiply it, so that when the time comes, we will stand in one row, dress on, and will go a column of revival of Russia. Treatment with the warmth of a soul. This blind singer is going to sing Yolanta aria. Alexander Mikhailovich helps her with her eyesight. Here, such is the circle of communication. After I started coming here, I have changed myself, because the atmosphere is so quiet here. I used to wake up with a good feeling, thanking God that He had given me this day and these people who helped me so much. I know Alexander Mikhailovich has a wonderful staff. He has wonderful people at his side. I myself have gone a health complex with Tamara Drokina. You know, these people are like the messengers of God, who live by quite different interests, and they are quite different. These are people with some enlightened faces, and what Sasha does is grandiose for me, and these people are like saints. They do not expect anything in return. As Jesus Christ said, having given, you will obtain. Having taken, you will lose. And so they live in accordance with Christian morality, which some want to destroy, dismember, and of course to strangle. But we won't give in as long as we've got Sasha and like him. Russia will be alive, and we shall overcome. Academic Orchestra of Folk Instruments Boyan, under the direction of people's artist Anatoly Poletayev. Monastery Choral.
помилуй, Господи.
Возрождение древа жизни возможно ли? Vivaton – уникальная оздоровительная система. Vivaton – это серия лечебных препаратов, сотни испытаний в ведущих клиниках. Vivaton выдержал проверку временем. Vivaton – тысячи и тысячи спасенных людей. Vivaton – это путь из лабиринта незнания через прозрение к красоте, молодости, здоровью. Облысение, папилломы, утраченная после родов упругость груди и живота, бесплодие, старость. Избавление возможно. Обращайтесь. Vivaton – это сеть центров в разных городах и странах. Звоните по телефону 291 5555.
Thank you.